Hi Luana, my name is Daphne. I'm one of the essay correctors here at IELTSpodcast.com. Thanks so much for getting your essay to us for some feedback before your exam. This is looking really nice. Some people who have been in prison become good citizens later, and it's often argued these are the best people. That is the most important word here. In that IELTS sometimes quite likes to give us one little word. We have to make sure we refer to this, or it's not possible to score a 7 for the task achievement. So you have to really look for the little words in the question. The best people to talk to teenagers about the dangers of committing crime. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So you've got your opinion here, which is great. And in here, you want to repeat your opinion. So if I put repeat opinion there in that conclusion. So let's just have a look at this, okay? So some people argue that former inmates, that's a relative clause coming up here, so it needs to be in commas, who've been adequately rehabilitated. Now, great vocab, but adequately isn't necessarily best, but so I would put successfully, let's be more positive, rehabilitated. So we've adequately is just like, okay, successfully is yay. Are the best live examples to teach adolescents about the harmful consequences of acting against criminal law. Acting against criminal law is fine, but I'm feeling this is getting a bit long. So the consequences of breaking the law. The collocation, we would normally say breaking the law. It sounds more natural. In my opinion, although their speeches might make one believe that the way to reassert. Now, you want reassimilation or reintegration would be your very high level lovely words here. Into society, is easily accessible. I'm largely in agreement about the educational power of this kind of experience. I wasn't sure about educational power, about the educational, it's the word power, educational, and I want to repeat success, but equally I've had success there. The educational value, let's use that, of this kind of experience. So I'd use value instead of power. But you're writing at a really lovely high level. It is just some of the collocations that I'm questioning, so some of the words which sound most natural. But really lovely intro there, it works. Those who discredit that ex-prisoners can teach a lesson to teenagers through their own backgrounds, point out that a large part of the audience may even be influenced to commit a crime, watch out, believing that it is simple to rebuild their lives after serving their sentence or a sentence. This is a very long sentence, which is fine, but it's maximum length, and you need to break it up with the commas or your reader doesn't know where you're going. So those who discredit, now all this is very long, and I know what you're referring back to. You're referring back to this idea in the question, but we could shorten this. Yeah, those who discredit, I would go simply the credibility. Now let's go the viability of allowing ex-prisoners to present their story. Yeah. I just think that is a sort of simpler way of trying to say what you're trying to say, which for me, that feels a little bit kind of clunky, a little bit heavy. So those who discredit the viability of allowing ex-prisoners to present their stories point out that a large part of the audience may even be influenced to commit a crime, believing that it is simple to rebuild their lives after serving a sentence. So sorry, it wouldn't be there. It would be a sentence. Very good. This seems to be more likely to occur among the current generation. Okay, this seems to be careful. We've got no evidence. This may be more unlikely, more likely. Be very careful here. This may, have to use suggestive language. This may be more likely among this current generation of young people, often alienated by social media applications. So your use of punctuation is really important. There's a lot of punctuation mistakes, which I know might not seem very important, but they are really relevant. In virtual reality, users often adore to expose their family or psychological problems, and the subsequent overcoming problems is just aiming to show off. I don't think that is relevant to the question. So are prisoners the best people to talk about teenagers? I think this comment here, you really need to keep that back on the point. I feel that's kind of off the point, that one. Nonetheless, it's highly probable worthwhile. Ooh. Highly probable worthwhile doesn't work in a sentence. Okay, it's highly worthwhile. Okay, or maybe many educators, or many, because it's teenagers. So many schools agree that it's highly worthwhile taking the risk. So it'd be worthwhile taking the risk to show you a true situation of someone who has lost lost years in jail and they struggle to put their life back on track again. Yeah, very good language there. Some real experiences speak louder than a mere theory. Not only should educational, but also religious institutions arrange sporadic lectures of this sort. Okay, with the best guest speakers. Just kind of push this idea again of the best guest speaker, prison or whatever. In this sense, recent studies have found that children and adolescents retain 65% more knowledge from classes based on concrete classes. Maybe, but reference this. Classes, concrete cases, all right, don't stop then, just keep going. There is no doubt that former criminals could show that the most reformed criminals can show better than anyone else. It would be anyone, everyone, the drawbacks and consequences of making appalling choices. Good, really, really nice. Well done of appalling choice. Okay. In conclusion, then repeat your opinion. The marginal risks, so I believe, marginal risks of putting a former detainee in contact with youth do not outweigh the powerful impact their whole experience can do. You don't have certainly can do to kind of informal on the audience. It's advisable. Yeah, really, really nice. There's so much that's brilliant in this essay. There's a few things that I would want to kind of sort out with you if we were working together. I think there's lots and lots of really good stuff here. I love your vocabulary, excellent. Generally, paragraphs are organised in a really good way. You're showing some fantastic complex sentences. There's a few expressions sometimes that you're not using quite the right language choice. And I would just like to have a little go with commas to make sure that we're really showing the examiner that we understand this grammar and why we're doing commas and what's the point and everything. Have a look at the essay packs we do. You might find that really valuable just to get some more practice. As I said, it'd be lovely to work with you. Well done.